I'm going to show how I take family photos. Here's an example of my most recent family photo that I took in our own house, just using my tripod and my iPhone and the practical artistic skills that I just know about from painting and art classes. Alright, so we're going to talk about composition, we'll talk about choosing the right colors and complementary outfits for family, and how to get the kids to pay attention to the pictures, and just general tips like that. So first we need to talk about outfits, how to choose outfits. So you want to coordinate, not necessarily match, right? So here's some examples. I have blue is the color, and we're all sort of coordinating. We're not all matching, and even their dresses are similar. They're all smocked dresses. They have similar shoes on. They're not all the same. And here's another example. We did pink, and obviously my husband did not wear pink, but it was a little more casual outfits. And one of the tricks I use, now this was my first one. I mostly just, the coordination was in the style, not in the colors. So we're all in sort of pastel colors, but they're all different colors. So you don't have to do like all one matching theme. And then for my most recent one, we did Christmas colors, and we had a Christmas background. And I was really running late on getting the photo made for that year. I don't even think they went out in Christmas cards, but this is one of my favorite ones so far. So I wouldn't recommend waiting until you have your Christmas decorations up to get your family pictures taken. But if it happens, it happens. You know, but you have the whole month of January to send down Christmas cards, because that's still the Christmas season technically. You don't need to get Christmas cards arriving before Christmas Day. Don't listen to that nonsense. But here's one where I was postpartum. You see the baby. This is a baptism picture. I didn't take this one. The lighting's not great because it was in the church. There's a lot of backlighting, so it's hard to see our faces. But I thought the compositional qualities were good enough for a family photo to be framed. Alright, there are some things that I would do differently if I was the one taking the picture. And lighting being one of the things, and showing feet is one of my biggest tips. Now, I haven't done it in all of my pictures. You don't have to show feet in all of them. It's not like a thing. But if you're going to do a sit-down picture, look at the difference between this one and this one. Both compositionally pretty good, but look at my toes got caught off in this, whereas all of our feet are showing in this one over here. And it's just these little details that are nice, okay? Not super important. It's just, you're going to be taking these pictures every year, so why not improve upon it each year? It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. Like I'm saying, this was my first one. We were sitting on a couch after church. We were already dressed in our church clothes, and we just set up the tripod. So you're going to need a tripod for this. Set up the camera, and I think the trick that I use is I don't take snapshots. I set up and I take a video, because kids are squirming the whole time, and if you wait for it to be a snapshot for everyone to be paying attention, it's not going to happen. So if I do a video, I can take the screenshot of the best moment in the video, or a few best moments, and I think it works so much better. So take a video, set up the camera, take a video on the front-facing camera, not on the back-facing one, like not a selfie style. You want it to be front-facing, front camera. I don't know which one's, you know, the one where you can't see yourself, not the selfie camera. Set it up like that and take a video. All right, so you have we've talked about coordinating colors. All right, Sunday best. All right, so I usually take them right after church, because it's just how it works out the best. Everyone's already dressed, and I just, on that Sunday, like this Sunday, I just made sure they were already wearing these outfits. So I put these outfits on them going to church, and when we got home, boom, took a picture. It was great. So things to keep in mind when you're doing this: make sure you have the tights on, the shoes on, all their little sweaters. If you have matching sweaters, get those all together. All the little accessories. Make sure there's no bare feet. You don't want bare feet in the picture. Put some socks on your baby's little feet. And yeah, just have all the little details already ready before you go, so that it is easier to do once you get home. You can do for lighting, you can do a light box. I can show you what that is. I have one right here. You can get one of these things on Amazon. They're very inexpensive, and the light is diffused through this, and there's a remote to get it turned on right. That's gonna be your best bet for in-home pictures, because you don't want to use overhead light, and a lot of times you don't get enough lighting through the windows to light up people's faces nicely. So I'd recommend getting that, or setting up a lamp in front of everybody. Okay, now for the composition. This is where it gets a little more technical, posing and things like that, because that's always a big question. I think it is key to have everybody touching in some way. Kid on a lap, hands on a knee, you know, people holding babies. Make sure everyone's connected, you know, in some way. You don't want anyone standing off in a... Oh, good.
I'm happy.
You don't want anyone off in a corner or stranded away from everybody. So everyone needs to be touching and close to each other. So snuggle up those kids real close in. It's nice to get this boundary border around the sides. If I'd take this picture again, I would move the camera further away so that we got a little more space above his head and a little more space above my feet. That is fine. It'll look better in the frame. It'll still come in close. So that's, look out, David. So that's one of my recommendations. Like, here is a earlier on picture. You can see we were just sitting on the couch in front of the Christmas tree in our Sunday best, and it was a pink coordinated colors with pink, but the camera was pretty close up rather than backed up. I would back up the camera a little bit so that we'd get the base of the couch and the feet and maybe around the edges, so it wasn't so tight. Maybe we'd even see the top of the tree. You might think that you want it up close, but I feel like compositionally it looks better when you have the family sort of in the center. At least that's the look I go for. I go for the more traditional, like the royal family style of family portraits. I just think that they look more timeless, and I think they're easier to take. It's an easier picture to do because it requires a little less creativity. Here we're sitting. Once again, I could have maybe had Mike stand again, but it was nice to see the background. I want to see the tree and the mantle. Don't do that. And so you know, it's up to you how you want to do it. Everyone doesn't need to sit. You could have a child sitting on the floor at your feet. That would look beautiful too. You know, maybe mom standing behind everyone or dad standing behind. I think if mom's holding the baby, it's nice that she's sitting down. Another thing I see that doesn't always look great, mom should always hold the youngest, or dad. Mom or dad should have the youngest on their knee. I think it's kind of awkward when you have like a big sister holding the baby, because then some people who don't know the family might be like, is that the mom? That's your first thought when you see the person holding the baby. You think, is that the mom? So try not to have your older siblings hold the baby. Put the baby on mom's lap or on dad's knee, or on the floor at their feet if they're a toddler and they can sit up. That would be very cute, you know, sitting on the floor. So there's some compositional styles. And we've talked about lighting, what you can use for lighting. Okay, if you have a big family, like mine's just growing. I have a smallish Catholic family. So for bigger families, you want to cluster in threes. Like even this one, for example. For example, if I did this one again, I would make him stand here. I'd make him stand right here. Have a child next to him and have a child in his arms. So there's 3 there. And then 3 here, side by side. So it's more, that would be a little bit more compositional. So if you have 9, 10 people in your family, have like little triangles of 3, if you can. That gives it a sense of cohesiveness. It looks really nice. It balances out the composition really, really beautifully. It gives a lot of visual interest. Also, you don't want to be pressed up against your background. I think you want to be, I don't know if you can tell, we're standing in front of I don't know what you call that, the fireplace. You want to have some depth. So don't be pressed up with your back touching whatever's in the background. You want to be moved a little forward. You want to have some layers, like the short one in front of a taller one. You want to have some depth and some layers so that you're not just all in a line. And once again, it's fine if you are. Like, some of these things are going to be inevitable if you have all little kids. We were all just sitting on the same couch. But there's still depth because some are sitting in front on laps, you know, some squeezed in the middle. But yeah, just keep that in mind about the depth of things. And composition, okay. Lighting, oh, getting the kids, yeah, we can't forget this part. Getting the kids to pay attention to the camera. You are never gonna have every picture with all the kids looking in the same direction. Look at this. Here's an example. Now this is not one I did myself, so I didn't really have time to do this my way. This was in a church, so it was not set up with a video camera. Someone else was taking the picture, but anyway, look at the little baby boy's looking the wrong way. This one's grumpy and got her hand in her mouth. You know, it took me forever. Like, it took them a lot of pictures to finally get one where they're at least looking in the same direction, if not smiling. We've got half of them smiling, half of them looking in the right direction. This one's good. We got the kids smiling, and the baby's not looking in the right direction. This is where I say give up. Give up on babies are not going to be looking in the right direction, especially if they're infants. Just have their faces showing, like this one. Have the baby's face visible. He doesn't need to be looking at the camera. That's totally natural and normal. If he is, that's fine. Here's one where the baby's looking right at the camera. I don't know how that happened. But to get smiles, don't tell them to say cheese. You don't want to say that. Instead, have them say stinky feet or poopy head, if you're okay with that kind of stuff. Have them say weird things like tutti frutti. Make them say things that'll be silly, or tell them like don't smile at all, and like get them to laugh. Okay, if you tell them not to smile, sometimes they'll laugh. But yeah, don't expect babies to be looking at the camera or obviously to smile. You just want them to not be crying. So keep the environment lighthearted. Don't be getting mad at people or you know, things like that. Just try to keep things lighthearted and everyone kind of looking in the right direction. And if you have it set to video, it can take as long as it needs to take to try to get everyone to look at the camera. You might have it in the first time you try, and it might take a couple tries, or you might just settle for something that is half decent. And that's usually what you have to do. You just have to settle for good enough and get those pictures printed off. And I get, what size? They have different sizes. I get one that I can put in a big picture like this. It's eventually going to hang on a family portrait wall. But for Christmas cards, you want to print off little card-sized pictures to add to your Christmas cards. So let's see, when are we talking about Christmas cards? Because that's coming up, I think, next week. But let me check. I don't want to get your... All right. No, so we'll talk about that 2 more videos from now, 2 weeks from now. So next week, we're going to talk about gift shopping, gift wrapping supplies, things like that. So stay tuned for the next video next week. And if you have this or you don't know about this little binder, go check out the video. I'll have it linked in the description about putting your year in order, because that's important to do. You can do that any time of the year, but in the video, I think I did it in January. You can do it right now. This is liturgically the beginning of the new year. Advent is the beginning of the new year. So you can get your little liturgical year in order and start taking notes for each season so that you know what's coming the next year and what worked and what didn't work and where things belong. So go check out that video to sort of get up to speed on how we do things here. Just to help us keep our family life living liturgically, following the church calendar without the stress. So that's why I kind of do this a little earlier. That's why I'm sharing when I start planning and start organizing, and it's going to be like a little bit earlier than most people because I'm slow, okay? I only get out to the store like once a week. I'm not going to be going out shopping for Christmas presents every day. And the last thing I want to do is wait until the last minute or the week before to do these things. I like to go through Advent slowly. I have to prepare for Advent. I have to make sure I have my Advent decorations and prayers put together, you know, and so there's sort of preparation that goes into all of these celebrations. And so if you want to stay on top of that and not get lost in the chaos of the holiday season, then please stay tuned for more videos. And if you appreciated this video, please comment what you like the most and what you would like to see more of. I always love seeing your feedback so that I know what to make more for you guys. So stay tuned for next week. We're going to go through the holiday season from now until the week of Christmas, and I will tell you what I'm doing, what I'm preparing, how I'm organizing my week so that I can get certain things done for the holidays that I like, that make me feel good, you know, I love having these family photos to look back on every year. And although it might be a little bit stressful, like, I think I kind of mitigate the stress by doing it a little bit early, but it's worth it. I think this is one of the things that's just so worth it to have, to look back on, to hang on your walls, and to share with your family and friends so they can see how your family's growing every year. I think this is so important, and I wish I had started sooner. See, I started when I had 2. So it was a family friend of mine, and she was like, I need a family photo. You guys go take a family photo. She like was on my case to get a family photo taken so that she could have it. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll get a family photo. I'm so grateful she was on my case for this, because this has seriously shaped how I go into the holidays and how I see my family for the rest of the year. It's so nice to have. So I really encourage you to do this if you don't already. And if you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend, another Catholic mother that is interested in living liturgically, and let them know about my channel and that this is what we do here at Classic Catholic on Abby Clinton channel. So check it out, and I will see you in the next video.